Hello, and welcome back to Common Sense for Relationships. How have you been? My name is Anietie Bature, and it's a pleasure to be with you today. On this channel, we bring you valuable information to help you make better decisions in your lives and in your relationships. Today is going to be another opportunity for us to do this with you, and we are glad that you have allowed us into your space. Okay, with me in the studio is my one and only darling, Kingsley Bature, my co-host, my sweetheart, my honey pie baby boo.
Yeah, try. I wish somebody can see me now. There's somebody that needs to see me like this. I've told the guy, go and marry, so that somebody too can be calling you like this. Don't worry. I'm not talking to everybody, but the guy knows himself anyway. But back to business. Back to business. I'm glad to be on the show today, and I just want to say to all our viewers from wherever you are watching us, East Coast, West Coast, Nigerian coast, and just like, share, and leave your comments, and please. Let's take this platform to the next level. We need your support. So share to your friends, share to your neighbors, can even share to your enemies. Just any of those people that are doing you bad belly, just send this thing to them so it will pain them. They may learn something new in the midst of their pain. You understand? But please just share it so that this thing can go forward. I don't doesn't like to talk about it a lot, but we need you to share. Thank you.
Yes, so welcome again. Welcome, Debbie. Welcome, everybody. Yes, welcome. And while you're at it, right, before we dive in, just let us know where you're joining us from. Let's know if you are in Nigeria, outside Nigeria, and peradventure you're joining us from Florida or Tampa or any of those places that has recently been hit by hurricanes. Our hearts go out to you, and we hope that God will help you recover fast.
And while you are still in, if you are from Nigeria and you're also hit by the economic hurricane, you understand the economic hurricane of different things. In this, this is supposed to be customer service week. Do you understand? It's supposed to be customer service week, but Nigerian customers have been serviced. With increase in fuel price. So in case that if economic hurricane has increased, my brother, we're in this together.
Yeah, the hurricane of having your money in the wrong bank.
In the bank, you cannot collect it back. In the midst of customer service week.
Right now.
Yeah, but here we are.
With all that is happening, this one will now join.
Here we are. That's what I'm saying. Please take heart, take it one step at a time. We are all in this together, but God passed them. # God passed them. Last, we'll be all right.
Amen to that. Okay, so our topic today is interesting. Breaking free from disempowering patterns or habits.
I noticed you put in phone there.
Okay, you say it's the normal way.
Breaking free from disempowering patterns.
You know what I said?
No, disempowering. Well, there was a way you were saying it.
True.
Disempowering pattern.
Breaking free from disempowering patterns.
The other way to say what it means is how to remove village people from your head.
because actually village people are blamed for a
lot of things. Exactly.
Honestly, when you think about it, you see that the people in the village really don't have anything else to do. That their job all the time is just to make sure that the people who left the village
didn't leave.
are in trouble wherever they are. So if we continue with this thing, that's how some of our brothers and sisters who left like that to other countries, if they go there and it's not working, after japping and leaving us, they now say it's us in Nigeria that are causing wahala for them. Imagine something like that.
And they say it's still village.
So maybe us back home now, we are the village people.
No, but even though we're trying to make light of it, the realization based on feedback from a lot of sources, it's that people are really struggling with patterns and habits that are reoccurring in their lives.
Yes, and
different aspects of their lives. Yes, yeah.
It's something that it requires that you look inward rather than look outward. It's it's easy to just say, "He's my problem. He's my problem. She's my problem. They are my problem." Sometimes you actually need to check: am I the part of the problem, or am I the problem? Go. It's just like someone going to. He said, if someone goes to the market and fights with every trader, then that person needs to check. Maybe they themselves are the problem. Because it can't be that everybody else is.
So you see what you've just said is like the first thing we need to address whenever patterns reoccur or patterns show up. Yes, because we are Nigerians, because maybe it's an African thing or it's a black man thing, I don't know.
Yeah.
We need to there's the issue of maybe in our village people. Okay, so village people, their own sometimes. But then can we find a way? There was something I stumbled on, something I saw on social media this week, and I think someone posted it, and the person was speaking. I think it was Sam Adeyemi, Pastor Sam Adeyemi. I think so. If I'm wrong, correct? They will correct me. But what he said, that I remember because it was just a flip. What he said is that there's a line between where divinity stops and where humanity has to pick up. Okay, so there's a line where divinity. So no matter how those of us who pray, sometimes we pray as though divinity takes care of everything. But in understanding the concept of God, there is a human aspect of that relationship, and God will not do for us
what we must do.
We must do for ourselves. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That, in fact, we can see it in the human nature. There's a time when you have to put the baby down and say, "Boy, you gotta walk." Do you understand?
So you brought your orphan and now, you gotta work. Yeah,
you noticed it.
You gotta.
You noticed it. My goodness, I was in the flow. But my point is, there's a point where you have to put the baby down and say you have to walk. And if the baby tries to walk and falls, you don't rush and carry him. He fell, so I have to carry him. No, I will not let him dash his feet against it. So no, if he falls there, you say, "Boy, get up and try again." Do you understand? So there's the part, when it comes to patterns, there's the part where there's divinity involved. And I'm trying to say that divinity part, we can put it's case by case. Put it aside. In this discussion, let's talk the humanity part. The part where, like you pointed out, we may actually be responsible for certain patterns that are reoccurring or recurring. Which one is it? Recurring. That are recurring in our lives.
Yeah. Okay, great. I think that's a great place for us to actually say, what is this thing called disempowering pattern?
Oh, now the definition is your shop. No?
Yeah, I'll start with my layman, very ordinary definition. Disempowering patterns is patterns that disempower you, that remove the power from you or separate you from the power, right? So there's a way you can live that things are working, everything is going well, you're advancing, you're making progress, you're making the right connections and so on. But there are things that you can do that all of a sudden, something that was going well is not going well anymore. Someone that was beginning to warm up to you says, no, not after that. And you've gotten a job, everything is going well. Then one day you do something and they say, no, this one, no, not anymore. We can only...
We've had it.
Maybe this, maybe that, but not this anymore. You represented, then it didn't work out, and then they're like, she can't be the face of the company anymore. It can be anything. It could be that to the point that you even lost a job because of something you did, right? So what are these empowering patterns? Now I'll read another definition. Disempowering patterns in relationships are negative dynamics or behaviors that undermine, you see the English now, undermine the well-being and growth of the individuals involved or of the relationship itself. So think about it. So you have a relationship. You are a person, I am a person in the relationship. Now, if you are doing certain things, you're behaving in certain ways that undermines our growth as individuals and undermines the growth of the relationship, that's a disempowering person. Yeah.
So that's disempowering. And then pattern talks about repetitive course of action.
So it's not a one, it's not like, oh, he came late today. Because of that, I'm not doing this relationship anymore. No. But he keeps showing up late consistently. Every time he says, let's meet at so-and-so place by 8 o'clock. I get there at 8 and he shows up at 9:30 or 10 and doesn't even apologize. This is not the third, fourth, fifth, sixth time. I can't count.
That's a pattern.
Yeah, that's a pattern. That's just an example, but that's a pattern. So look at your life. What are the things that you are doing? Some of you may already know what they are because maybe people have told you again and again. Or maybe if you have had exes 1, 2, 3, 4, and you broke up in a way that they told you this is what I don't like about you, or this is why I can't continue with this relationship. Maybe you've gotten some feedback already to let you know that these are some of your disempowering patterns. But if you don't know, if you have not been told, maybe a sit down to look inward to see what really is the problem, what's the trend, what's causing this, might help you discover it. And we'll talk more about how you get to even discover what those patterns are.
Interesting. Yeah. Very, 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 very interesting.
Yeah.
I like the way you just break these things down and keep it simple. There's not only are you keeping it simple, you look good when you're doing it. Guys, you don't understand these 3 points. 3 points. Like, let me show you another point. Did you guys notice the way she drew that her eye pencil? It just brings out her eyes. Oh my goodness. When you see fine girl, my brother, marry well so that you always like what you're looking at. Not when you wake up and you say, hey!
How interesting. Okay, so do you want to dive into some examples of the disempowering patterns, or?
Okay, so in terms of especially the ones that we have encountered, you have the patterns where someone tells you it's almost like you are the example. Arsenal fans no hard feelings. I'm an Arsenal fan. You understand? But you see that I'm the almost getting there guy. As in, it's almost as if when things are going to work, they never eventually work. So I do. It's as if when it reaches to my own turn, they will pick everybody. But when it reaches to my own turn, they will not pick me. Or they are serving food just before it reaches me, the food will finish. Do you understand? This, as in, I'm using this to explain a pattern.
I'm actually waiting to see how Arsenal will help to explain this thing. Well, continue.
We are trying to win Premiership. Time to win Premiership. Almost when we are almost there to win it, suddenly the same points that you used to win Premiership in the last 10 years, you get to the point and you still don't win Premiership.
Okay.
It's like this is a bad pattern. Do you understand? Now, but the point is, there's that pattern where you feel like you're almost getting there, but you never get there.
And what would be the reason for
that's a pattern.
Yeah.
That's a pattern in itself. Now, if you now come and you look personally at disempowering pattern on a personal note, the question you'd ask yourself is, why am I never getting there? Why am I never getting picked?
Yeah.
Why is it always, why does it seem like it's always ending at my...
Why are always breaking up?
Why are people always breaking up with me?
Just before they propose.
So, in cases like this, sometimes they will say it's spiritual husband or spiritual wife. Like I said, divinity is there. Let's leave that on the side. But people need to sit down and ask questions. What are the patterns that are present in my life? Why is it that when something good happens to me, I'm uncomfortable? You know that happens.
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable with something good happening to me. It's like you keep waiting for something bad to happen after something good. And then when something bad happens, you said, I said it. I knew it was coming.
Because you're actually expecting the negative thing.
So you were, because it is, you just know. So it's those kind of things when people come into my office and I listen to them, you begin to say, where do these empowering patterns come from? A lot of times it is even in the definition of the word, it comes from the beliefs. The belief system. Everybody has a belief system, whether you admit it or not. And where do beliefs come from? They come from ideas that develop into thoughts, that become concepts, and then mature into a vision.
Right now you're showing up.
I'm telling you. Do you understand? It's coming from the wealth of experience. It's not my fault. Do you understand? You don't understand? One of my mentors used to say that lion will not eat grass. It's not pride. It's just the way he is. And then skit makers now show us one lion that is eating grass. I don't know why those guys. I don't know why those guys do those things. When motivational speaker just drop, skit maker just go and find. That's why they found the lion eating grass.
So beliefs.
So okay, back to it. Back to beliefs. Do you understand? So it's that a lot of these patterns come from beliefs. When the beliefs become a vision, it is like you have empowered it you have given it life to reproduce. I don't know if you understand. Yeah. So if that belief become, because beliefs are actually convictions.
Yeah.
And without knowing it, those convictions put your life on auto drive. And they are driving. The question you have to ask is, who's on the steering wheel?
Interesting.
But because you are not paying attention to what is driving you, is village people. Yeah. But a lot of times, you created the beliefs that run your life. And so if you don't pay attention, you will keep throwing the blame everywhere where the blame needs to be.
Yeah, it's just like when you are expecting something good to happen, and you are paying attention and you're actually looking out for the something good.
Yes.
You actually start to appreciate even the little good things that happen, even though they may not be mega.
Yes.
But in doing the appreciation of the little things, sometimes somebody says, wow, look at how she rejoiced over that little thing. What more can I do? How else can I help?
Yes.
It may not be even the person who did it for you, but it may be somebody else that was paying attention. And if you read some books, like my dear, The Thinking Substance, as we call it.
Yeah, that book.
That book. If you read some books, does that tell you something like the universe will respond to you when you express gratitude and appreciation and so on. And if you look at it now, if you keep a gratitude journal and stuff like that, you see that you always keep having something to write down there. Sometimes it's that you have paid enough attention to even notice the goodness in your life.
And you see, just to buttress what you say, those that are Christians among our viewers, you recognize that when the Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Yeah. In other words, it is that your thought process actually determines your life outcomes. Do you understand? Your thought process, the way you are thinking. When those thought processes mature, they become concepts and systems that run your life for you.
Yeah.
Without needing your input.
Example. All the good guys are taken. You keep hanging around people who keep saying all the good guys are taken, and you join them in saying all the good guys are taken. You will struggle to find a good guy. In fact, when a good guy actually shows up,
you won't know it.
You'll be looking at him and you'll be spotting the one thing
that he doesn't have,
like a flaw, that seems like an imperfection, and you still say all the good guys are taken. Meanwhile, other people are looking at you and you're saying, see the person. It's as simple as that.
You see, another part of these patterns, and how to deal with them.
Yeah.
But we have not gotten to the part of dealing with them. We'll get to the part. But it's just the resurfacing of the patterns. Have you noticed how easy it is to speak bad about Nigeria? Nothing is working. Nothing is happening. This country is dead. There is nothing good that can come out of Nigeria. It's so easy to say that. Do you understand? That used to be my position some time back.
Until. Don't worry, let's not talk about it.
No, we'll talk about it in it's a whole story on its own. But in noticing that had become a pattern, I needed to change the script. But you will find out that if you keep saying all these things that are not working with Nigeria, and that becomes your mindset,
it will also become your reality.
It will also become your reality. And in this same Nigeria where nothing is working, in this same Nigeria, people are still making it. Nothing is working, but people are making it. So the question I'm trying to ask myself, why am I not one of them? Somebody says skit makers will say, they always say, as you think. That's it. I've been thinking like to be like Dangote, but I never hammer. But now when person just think bad small, the next thing it go happen. Do you get?
Yeah.
But the truth is, sometimes from where you are to where you need to be may be a longer journey than where you are and where you are coming from. So it's easier to slide back than to move forward. Are you understand what I'm saying? So sometimes it's easier to slide backwards than to move forward. So the moment you decide, I am going to move forward and I am going to break the pattern of speaking ill or speaking evil about Nigeria, you have to do it deliberately. And you will find out that in this same land where they say nothing is working, people, they hammer. So why not be one of them?
And people, there's still opportunities that people are taking advantage of in this same.
As much as
Nigeria.
people are jackpotting, some people they jackpot that.
Yes.
And some of us never left in the first.
Yes, and the interesting thing is, if you have people who are saying there are no jobs, there's no this, there's no that, right? And yes, unemployment is terrible right now.
Reality.
Yeah, but the fact is that some people have reached into their pool of skills, talents, and are doing something with it. And you see a number of young entrepreneurs springing up here and there. Some people started with making Zobo in small bottles. And then people were buying the small bottles. Now they're making Zobo in big bottles. Do you understand? And the clientele, their customer base is growing. As in, some people are making dresses, doing different things. People are finding, and sometimes when you hear what people are doing, it sounds like, so that one too is a business. But when they start telling you the money they're making from it and how it is paying their rent and taking care of their expenses, then you're like, hey, if they had waited for a job, maybe the job would not even pay them as much.
And for me, this is where I bring it in, right? To still talking about patterns and what's happening with us. This is where it shows up. Somebody said in a family, someone said, the reason why I didn't make it in life is that my father said I will never make it in life. And because my father said I'll never make it in life, no matter what I do, everything I try to do, nothing works. But in the same family that the father said to two sons, you will never make it in life, you people are useless. One of them did not make it in life because his father said he will not make it.
Another one decided he will prove his father wrong.
The other one decided he will prove his father wrong.
And he made it.
I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So I'm saying the disempowerment may come from outside, but its ability to disempower you comes from inside. So if you don't allow it, it doesn't matter what they are pushing from outside, it will not disempower you. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So it means that if we are going to break free from these empowering patterns, one of the first things we must do is to stop and, like you said from the beginning, do a self-check. Where is this coming from? Because sometimes it's so easy to say it is from my village and leave it there. It's so easy. And I mean no disrespect to prayer people. I pray. But it's so easy to say, let's just pray. But like that example I gave at the beginning, you need to know where you pray, where God covers, and where God expects you to do what?
To take action.
To take action. So pray, but there's a point to take action. And we are talking about those points to take action to break free from those patterns.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And one of those places is to stop and ask, where did this really come from? There's so many patterns in different areas of our life. We need to stop and ask, where did it come from? I always make an example. For example, those of you that are watching us from Nigeria, or you are Nigerians, how many people, every time you eat food, you don't eat your meat until you finish the food? Do you understand? Because you will eat the food, you will not touch your meat, because when you were growing up, they say you must not touch your meat before you eat your food. I've asked that question. Most times I get a lot of fans to say, yes, it happens to me too. But the question is, where did you get it from? What does it mean? Why did they tell us that we cannot eat our meat until we finish our food? Do you understand?
Yeah.
So sometimes you might even find out that some patterns that are disempowering you are no longer relevant to the state of life in which you are. But because you have not questioned them, you keep them and they limit you. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So it needs to begin with stopping and asking, where did this come from? That's number one. Number two, you now come to the point of, okay, if I've discovered where it came from, this is where it came from, or these are the things, or maybe I don't even know, these are the areas. The next thing you have to ask is, what am I going to do about it? Do you understand me?
Yeah.
What am I going to do about it? Another question you can ask is, if this is a pattern that I've discovered, what has this pattern cost me in my life? What has this pattern cost me? Has it affected me progressively or retrogressively? Is it moving me forward or is it moving me backwards? Is it moving me backwards? Okay. If I change this pattern, can I move forward? Do you understand what I'm saying? So those are questions that we need to begin to ask in order for us to do what? To take action. And then, in order to break free from the pattern, there's a concept that we usually do, right?
And I think that concept will be great to discuss right after the break.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a great time to take a break. And for everyone who is with us, we are going to get to the part where you will have to give us feedback as well. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Kingsley Bature, Managing Partner for Common Sense Global Consult by day, Creative Director for Broken Walls Media by night, and then I'm a divine realist in between. Ladies say, all men has come. And then the guys in turn say, all the good girls are taken. What does that show us? It tells us that the complexity as far as relationship is concerned has been created. I'm Kingsley Bature, a licensed family life practitioner, and I deal in demystifying complexities. It's true, relationships can seem very, very complex. So book a session with me and let's journey through this whole relationship brouhaha. My link is in the description below, and you can as well follow me on all my social media handles. I'm your guy, Kingsley Bature.
All right, welcome back. So now we're going to go into a part that is really interesting. And what we want to do is look at some of the very common disempowering behaviors that people have in relationships. And then we will discuss each in a little bit of detail. And then after that, we will now get to talk about how to even deal with these issues and get rid of them so that you can make progress in your life, so that you can live an empowered life. Okay, so I'll start with the first one. Are you ready?
I'm here.
Okay. First one is control and manipulation. So this is when someone tries to dominate in the relationship. And you want to be the one making the decisions, you want to be the one having the final say. And if the other person tries to do something that is not going your way, you try to give them a guilt trip, and make them feel like that
Less
something else and so on. Yes. So what do you have to say about this? Is it something that we should expect in relationships? Is it a normal thing, or is it something that people should look out for and run away from if they find it? So what do you have to say about this?
Well, the concept of manipulation and
Control.
and control usually speaks again to something we call the internal filters in a person. There are about 7 of them. 7 internal filters in the person. I can't.
I'm not asking you to list, but
yes, I can't list all of them on this program because it's a course on its own. But those internal filters, one of them is what we call the meta programming. Meta programming speaks about the person's personality. Do you understand? So it's an internal construct. So on one hand, the person can tell you that's just the way I am. On the other hand, if you are going to get into a relationship, you are going to have to do something about the way you are. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it can be a plus and it can be a minus to the relationship.
Yeah.
So it can empower the individual and disempower the relationship. So that's why for those meta programs, it's something that you need to become aware of. What's your personality type? Do you understand? When you understand your personality type, then you understand the personality type of the person you're in a relationship with. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And then you can now decide, okay, if this is my personality type, but I'm going to get into a relationship, then I need to do something, because the personality type does not confine you to remain in that way. It says this is how your internal construct is, but then it also shows you the things that you can do in order to allow you to empower your relationship.
Yeah, that's great. I like how you put it, that it can, these what do you call it,
Meta programming.
Meta programming. They can empower you but disempower the relationship, right? Because being controlling
can make you feel like boss.
Yeah,
like boss.
in some settings.
You need that.
Yes.
Yeah, you need that.
But it can disempower the relationship, because that person may say, hey, I'm not cut out for this. I'm not here for you to be running my life and dragging me
like some people that we know said one time, say listen, I'm not your staff. I'm your wife. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Yeah, like the people that start singing, "Oh my God," and
they were.
You try things like this.
My life. Yes, that
brought about that song.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's great. So, thanks for touching on that. Now we'll go to the next one.
Okay.
Lack of communication. In fact, if you ask me, I'll put lack of communication as number 1, because you know how this communication matter. It used to disturb plenty of people. I think communication is so key in virtually every aspect of life. But I want to touch on I'll just highlight this, then I'll let you address it.
No. I'm not even trying to address it. I'm trying to bring in, I'm trying to see from my perspective, I'm trying to see how is lack of communication a disempowering pattern?
Exactly. That's what I want to throw light on. And then I'll let you take it from there. So this is where you avoid difficult conversations.
Oh, babe.
or you consistently fail to express your emotions or your needs, right? And in doing so, this creates distance in the relationship. Because I mean, we have an issue. Let's sort it out. You say, I'm done here. I'm not having this discussion. And you leave. You have not addressed the issue. And what will happen is that's just like one issue unresolved is like you have put one brick that will eventually create the wall that separates you guys.
And then the relationship breaks up and say, I'm not attracting the right kind of people for me.
Yeah, or even in a marriage, this can actually disempower you to the point where you are talking about divorce.
Divorce, yeah.
Because issue number 1 comes, you don't address it, one brick. Issue number 2 comes, you don't address it, another brick. Eventually, it piles up and you have a wall that separates you guys. So, yeah, what would you like to see?
I don't have anything to add because
that's
because you have made it. Because me, I was even trying to think how this one takes join, but you made it clear enough. So I think it's straightforward.
Yeah. This can just eat away at the intimacy between you guys.
It erodes emotional bank balance.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll take the next one. The next one. Blaming and criticizing. Blaming and criticizing.
Oh, that's a pattern. That's a pattern in Nigeria now. It's a general pattern.
when you become the professor or the expert at the blame game. Once something happens, you are blaming. Once somebody does something that is wrong or something that was a mistake or something that the outcome was not good, you criticize. And you can do it in relationships, whether you're single or married. As in, it happens left, right, and center. And this is an empowering...
It disempowering.
Yes, sorry, thank you. It disempowering. This, for emphasis, this is a disempowering behavior. Yes, because who wants to be in that kind of situation? So unless the person is completely dependent on you, right? Maybe they're depending on you for sustenance, they will continue to hang around. But if they're not depending on you and you're like that, every time always blaming, they have to be careful around you. Then what do you think is going to happen?
And really, this blaming one has a way of our son will call it dealing emotional damage. If it was a video game, video game, when they do all those fighting games, they'll deal 110 damage, 1,000 hits. Blame game deals emotional damage.
Yeah.
So what it does, it begins to create toxic relationships because the person is feeling you may not even be assaulting the person physically, but you are assaulting them emotionally. You are hitting them with blows that makes them bend low, makes them lower,
almost like a demeaning.
Yes, like meaning,
causing the person to diminish.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a terrible pattern.
Yeah,
and it's something that you can break because it is what? It is a behavior.
Yeah, you have to really be careful because what you don't want to do is damage people's self-esteem,
self-worth.
Yes,
because part of another one of those internal filters, the number one of those internal filters that we all have is values. Everybody have values, whether you know them or not.
Yeah.
But when you do this, when you hit people like this emotionally, it's almost as if you devalue them.
Yeah.
So you are breaking them in bits. And some people actually weaponize the blame game.
Yeah.
So that they just want to cut you down bit by bit.
Yeah. And sometimes when people want to make sure that the people or the person they are engaging is not fighting back, or the person they're engaging does not continue to confront them, they do the blame game thing because some people just can't take it. So rather than stay there and continue to receive the blame, they will just say, you know what, I'm not even doing this anymore.
In fact, sometimes it's rather than stay there and receive feedback. Some people don't even want you to give them negative feedback. At the moment you bring negative feedback, they just hit you with something so that you feel it and you back out and don't tell me something I don't want to hear.
Yeah.
So that is a disempowering behavior.
So
which is a pattern you have to break.
Yeah. So those of you who are watching this, if you are hearing some of these things and it's resonating with you, please, you can just go ahead and leave a comment or something. Just let us know that yes, you are hearing this and some of these things are, should I say, you are touched by some of these things, right? Yes. And if you want to share maybe an experience that you have had where somebody dealt you this blame game thing, feel free to share. It's a community here, and we look forward to your comments.
And
yes,
we would respond.
Yeah. All right. So these are some of the disempowering behaviors that people have. I mean, there are others, but we can't talk about everything today. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we will be right back to discuss some of the things that you can do, what strategies to help you deal with or get rid of disempowering behaviors. See you when we get back. Welcome back. Thanks for being with us up to this point. I hope you're gaining a lot from all the examples we're giving and some of the, should I say, what experiences?
Experiences.
And so on.
Life cases.
Yeah. So now I want to talk about strategies. I'm sure you've been waiting for this part. Okay, you've told us what the issues are. Oh yeah, no. Tell us how to deal with it, especially if we mentioned one or two things that you feel you may be dealing with currently, maybe by yourself or maybe in a relationship. So yeah, let's get into this part. What would you say are some of the key ways people can deal with disempowering beliefs? Where is the best place to start? Is there like a process flow from do this, do that, up to the point where each person can say, yes, I have dealt with and gotten rid of my disempowering beliefs or my disempowering behaviors?
Well, for me, in our practice, we look at it as a system, right? And I can share one way to deal with these disempowering patterns. And you know, these disempowering patterns are also habits and behaviors. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That you are trying to get rid of. That's what we mean by all these patterns we're talking about. So the thing, what I share, you can also apply to habits that you have been trying to deal with that you have not been able to deal with.
Okay.
And if you are not able to walk through by yourself, of course, you can reach out to us, Common Sense Global Consult, and we'll get you to work with a coach or a mentor and a counselor, someone that will work with you until you get to the end of that cycle. I'll share it in this way. We are all at the mercy of whatever belief system powers our meaning. Whatever belief system empowers your meaning of your present circumstance, you are always at the mercy of that belief system. The moment I can convince you that it is your mother in the village that is the reason for your lack of progress in life, there's nothing I will tell you to do in terms of hard work or any strategy or anything I give you that will change your mind.
As long as your mother is alive.
As long as your mother is alive.
Because you're convinced that she's the problem, and that as long as she's there, there's no way out.
There's no way out. And that belief will empower the behavior that will not seek alternative strategies, but the only behavior will be to find a way to get your mother out of the picture. So there's a concept we call the triangle of life. And that concept, at one end is behaviors, another end is beliefs, and then another end is results. What are the behaviors that you are currently taking, and what are the outcomes or the results that they are producing? Because behaviors produce outcomes, right? Then, at the other end of the triangle is what are the beliefs that are powering these behaviors. So, if the behavior is not giving the outcome that you want to see,
change what you believe in.
Change what you believe in. It will affect the behavior. It will improve the outcome. It's a system. So sometimes when motivational speakers tell you, look at the mirror and recite, make certain proclamations, declare this, declare that, all they are trying to do is to change your belief system. If they can change your belief system, they know that your behavior will also change. It's almost like auto-tune. And if your behavior changes, your outcome will change. So it's a system, and you can apply it everywhere. You can apply it to any behavior. Just find out, okay, this is the disempowering behavior. Find out what it is. Every time, like if we take one of the distance you gave.
Let's say blaming.
Every time I get negative feedback, I blame somebody. And the outcome is we quarrel. I have to come back and say, okay.
Behavior is blaming.
The behavior is blaming. The belief that powers that behavior is that I don't like anybody to criticize me. The outcome is quarrel or broken relationship. So I must come back to the belief and say, okay, where did I get this dislike for people criticizing me? And why do I think that people giving me negative feedback is criticism of me? Can I change the meaning I attach to negative feedback? When people tell me something they don't like about me, can it just be data? Can it just be feedback and not a criticism of my person? We are beginning to change the belief. So I can say whenever somebody tells me something they don't like about me, it is what? Data. I know the interesting thing about data. Data is not emotional. It doesn't have any feelings. So if you look at it as data, you won't feel anything about it. It will just be what? Feedback. And a lot of time, data has no meaning except the meaning you attach to it.
Okay. So when you have processed
the belief.
Yes. And then you have adjusted the belief so that it will affect your behavior, then you will get a different outcome. So for instance, this person says, I'm going to get data. I'll treat feedback as data.
Yes.
And if I treat it as data, I am going to tell the person who provided it, thank you, I got the feedback. I'll see what I can do about it. In which case, you don't turn back and start blaming. But what your behavior now has become appreciation and self-reflection,
self-awareness.
Exactly. And then the outcome will probably be
better relationships.
yes, and maybe even an adjustment in how you do things so that the person doesn't have negative feedback next time.
Next time.
You know what I like most about this your triangle?
Mm-mm.
After you've gotten the result, it further reinforces the positive belief that you had. If you were getting negative results, it will reinforce your negative beliefs. So something has
That's why it's a pattern.
yes. So it just keeps going. So something has to come to disrupt that thing. If not, you continue going that way. So that's why. So where will you now get this mindset from? This is self-reflection, the new mindset, or is it from? Will it be self-reflection, or is it from an external source, or what? Typically, from what you have seen, how do people typically change their beliefs?
It has to come. It has to begin with you. The journey of self-discovery begins with the realization of self-awareness.
Okay.
You must come to terms with the fact that, okay, something is not right here. And the moment you realize that something is not right, that's where the journey begins.
Wow.
Self-awareness.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much. For everyone, I hope that you have drawn this triangle on your book. Remember, bottom left is beliefs. At the tip or the apex of the triangle, you have behaviors, and bottom right is
Outcomes. Results.
or results. So please keep that in mind, and you can just have fun with this and be thinking, okay, what are things I'm not happy about, or what are things I'm not excited about in this relationship, or in this whatever area of life. Those are your results. Now start thinking, what did I do to get that? Okay, what do I believe that is making me behave like this, that's bringing this result? Okay, what can I change
Exactly.
down here so that I can behave differently and have a different result? It looks like an exercise I will be doing also in the next few days, just for the fun of it. Yeah, maybe I'll come and testify next one.
Yes, okay. I will send you my invoice.
Right.
Why are you like this? People like free things.
Yes. Thank you so much for being our guest today, or our audience today. Once again, like we always say, remember,
Common sense is not so common.
see you next week. Bye.
Bye.